Gents, when it comes to Bernd Leno, he's got massive shoes to fill. I know he's been starting games over Petr Cech, but he won't be around next season. It's going to be all Bernd Leno. Are you fully convinced by him as a goalkeeper?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, why not? Go.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 50-50 on Bernd Leno. I think he's got some very good traits as a goalkeeper, but I see a lot of mistakes in him as well. But it's his first season at Arsenal Football Club. I mean, this is a huge giant of a club. So, you know, he's going to get better. He's only 25 years old, so we will get better. So I'll put that one on the back burner, and I'll save my judgment for probably next season.
The jury's out at the moment, and you've got to give him time. It's the most difficult position and lonely position on the pitch when things are not going well. You know, as a striker, you might get another chance. As a left back, if you make a mistake, you get on the ball straight away and make some good passes. As a goalkeeper, when you make a mistake, you might not touch the ball for the next 20 minutes, and then things are going in your head. So what I would say is, he is a youngish guy. The jury is out. For me, you would talk about Petr Cech and the big boots to fill. Petr Cech came into Chelsea and he was at it straight away. You could see he was world class, hit the ground running. This guy's not. That's not to say he can't develop into be a very good goalkeeper, but do I see him being as good as Petr Cech was in his heyday? No, I don't.
Can I add to that?
Of course.
I think what was important when Petr Cech went into Chelsea had that back four and they had that screen in Makelele. I think that was key because he wasn't overworked. I mean, Leno doesn't know what defence he's got in front of him from week to week, so that can't build consistency. So I'm not saying that he's going to be better than Petr Cech by any stretch of the imagination, but he has never had a set back four in front of him.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. It's not just a back four, you know, sometimes it's back three, and for goalkeepers that can make a difference, especially if you're trying to find your feet yourself. And I take your point about the back four and Makelele as well when Cech came in. But Cech, the things he needed to do, he did it 100%. And you could see this is a special guy. I mean, it's difficult to compare anyone to a Petr Cech because
legend, yeah.
he has been one of the greatest goalkeepers that the Premier League's seen.
Do you think he is the greatest? I mean, De Gea's name is there, Schmeichel's name is there,
Yeah.
Edwin van der Sar's name is there. A lot of United keepers.
Well, you could take your pick, can't you? Really, it's who you favour. Really, you know, all of these guys are such top-class keepers and legendary status. To have a legendary status in the Premier League as a goalkeeper, you have to be really, really good. And Petr Cech was really
I think
good.
there's only Schmeichel who rivals him. I think he's been that good. Off the top of my head, yes. I think Cech has been 15 seasons in the Premier League. Absolutely wonderful. And I think the fact that there's no way Chelsea would have let someone like Cech go to Arsenal if he hadn't have been so special. It was Roman Abramovich saying, do you know what, you've been so good to us, you can go to one of our rivals. Because really, that should never have happened. It was out of respect.
Well,
because he was that good.
We saw the reception from the Chelsea fans here today, the away supporters. I think they can also appreciate it. But going back to the topic of mistakes and Bernd Leno, where's the line between understanding how the game is played in the current climate of football here in the Premier League? Edison's made mistakes, Alisson's made mistakes, Bernd Leno's made mistakes, and the style of football will imply there will be mistakes made. Where's the line between that and stability?
Well, now you're asking goalkeepers to almost be central midfielders, or almost as good as central midfielders, and also be the last line of defence at the same time, which obviously it's got to be nerve-wracking when you get the ball back and you're expected to play like a central midfielder, but you know, one mistake and the ball's in the back of the net. I think with Edison and Alisson, yes, they have made mistakes, but they have shown that I'd love to see them out on the pitch, to be honest with you, because they've been that good. In fact, we saw Edison, didn't we, on Monday. I don't see Leno in that category, I really don't. I think those two are very, very special. But again, this is a guy who needs time to develop, and Arsenal need to decide themselves. And Mary needs to look at him in training and saying, is this guy capable? Is his potential even better than what we're seeing at the moment? Can he develop into something? If he can, stick with him. If not, I'd say go out and buy, but you know, we'll have to wait and see the finances again. That question comes up.
Summer. I think the summer is going to be the key. And we're going to find out a lot about Leno for the rest of the season, whether he can cope, because there's going to be a lot more pressure. Now that they're only 3 points behind Chelsea, there's a lot of pressure that's going to come on this team.
And the top teams have a top goalkeeper. If you want to be a top team, you have to have a top goalkeeper. So we'll see from now to the end of the season.
What about the knock-on effect? Let's just say he makes a mistake and you're the left back in the situation. At what point do you start questioning your goalkeeper? At what point do you take that extra split second to say, play him a back pass? That split second, fine margins in the Premier League, you can be quite easily found out.
Yes, you can, but you have to trust that what you're doing is the right thing. And if your manager's asking you to ask your goalkeeper to receive the ball, pass it out from the back, you have to play like that. When I was playing, I won't name names, I passed the ball, as a left back, you'd pass the ball almost away from the goal. So if there's some kind of bump or something, it doesn't go in the back of the net. And one of the goalkeepers I played with had a go at me because I put it onto his left foot away from the goal. No, I put it on my right foot all the time. He wasn't comfortable on his wrong foot. Now you're seeing goalkeepers almost being two-footed, and they're absolutely fantastic in that. And the game, again, has moved on so much. Even just watching the way they play, the way they pass out, it's almost like a training session, but you've got 60,000 people watching you, and millions around the world as well. There's a lot of pressure on goalkeepers nowadays. But that's the modern goalkeeper, the way they've got to play now.
Definitely. I think earlier on in the season when Petr Cech was in, you saw Petr Cech struggle a little bit with that, because it's not something that Petr Cech has had to really master. Leno obviously has mastered that a lot better, and he's better at it than Petr Cech, and he's two-footed as well. So in that sense, he was more advanced than Petr Cech. But commanding your box and being that presence, Petr Cech was still the number one.
The way it's gone now is that the goalkeepers, almost how good are they on the floor? I'm not saying managers are forgetting or head coaches are forgetting that actually the aim of a goalkeeper is to be a good goalkeeper and stopping these shots and coming out and, as you say, commanding your box. As a fullback, a cross comes in or a corner comes in, you want your goalkeeper to go out, and even if you take out your own defenders, so what? You just go in and you just say, wow, this goalkeeper's got something about him. Now it's like pass, 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 but he should have come out from that cross, and you're conceding goals that you feel perhaps you shouldn't be conceding because your goalkeeper's not as commanding in that way. So there's a balance to be had. I think that the City and Liverpool goalkeepers have that balance. Again, we'll see on Leno.
Were there any keepers during your time who were as good with their feet as we see nowadays in the Premier League? I mean, there was Lorena Higuita, but I know he didn't play with you, gents, so...
No, do you know, for back passes, balls that came back, Dave Seaman was unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah, Dave Seaman was really good. He thought he was a striker in training at times because he was striking the ball so clean. But I think what they're being asked to do now is a lot different, because back in the day, it was, you wanted to shift it up because we didn't mind turning teams. You didn't mind hitting the front. But now everyone's into sort of a total football type thing where you want to get everybody involved. It's more pleasing for the fans. So goalkeepers have to, rightly said, as Scott rightly said, have to probably be like a midfielder.
Do you think he could have made it in the Premier League right now in an Arsenal side or a Man City where he played, David Seaman?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so.
With his style.
His presence alone will keep him there.
Yeah, I think you're looking at goalkeepers now. Technically, they're fantastic, but you look at a David Seaman, and he was that good. Petr Cech, uncomfortable at the beginning of this season playing the ball out, but he was that good that in his prime, without a doubt, they'd be there. But in terms of the question of when I played with goalkeepers, there's no one who was technically that good. David James was one of the sweetest strikers of the ball at West Ham that I've played with as a goalkeeper. A wonderful striker of the ball, and he could knock it 50, 60 yards. But in terms of the little touch, the little 1-2s, no, he wasn't able to do that.
I'll tell you a story. I played football with David James. He was my centre back, and I was playing goal. He got about 3 assists just from the edge of the box by kicking it up. He was that good.
Yeah,
it was
great striker with the ball.
Something amazing to see.